Okay. Hey, hi. I'm the only one on right now, but it said it's recording, so I just thought I'd say hello for who's ever watching. And today is Monday. What is the date? March 8th. And this is our Mentor Monday. Brian will be here in a moment. The mentors have 1 month a week, 1 month, okay, 1 Monday a month. And we set aside for whoever would like to join us along with our mentees, but it's actually open to everyone. And we are going over specific topics. We just thought that would be more helpful. And today's topic is on lead generating. Our favorite topic, right, you guys? So until people come on, I will just talk. And let's see. What I'd like to know is, because of our COVID year in 2020, and we're still in it now in 2021, and I honestly feel that it's going to continue, even though things will open up and get a little bit back to what we're used to. I think it's going to still have long-term effect on everyone and how we do business, since we've adjusted so much virtually and online. And I have found it to be helpful to have this option to still communicate and not necessarily have to do things in person. I think that it allowed us to expand. Oh, there's Brian. Hi, Brian. I'm just talking away. Oh, I don't hear you. Okay, while Brian's getting connected. Oh, are you there, Brian?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. I've been having some technical issues over here today.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just talking away. Nobody's here yet, but it said it's recording, so I just started talking.
Oh, there you go.
So just in case we don't have anybody joining us, I think let's just do our conversation until they join us.
Okay.
And what I just started saying was, just sharing about the mentors. We are taking 1 Monday a month and having this forum, one at 12 o'clock for 1 hour, and then again at 5 o'clock for those of hopefully can meet everybody's timelines. And we're talking about lead generating, our favorite topic.
Absolutely.
And then I just started saying, Brian, that last year and even now, it has allowed us to figure out a different way. Mm-hmm. And some of the ways actually have been really helpful and time saving.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Curious what you're doing, how you've pivoted so far this year, because I know I've pivoted massively.
Well, it's a continuation from last year.
Okay.
It's just a continuation. I love the Zooms because in the we don't have to do things in person like oh, there's Art. Welcome, Art. Let's wait till Art comes in and get connected. But what I was just, okay, I think. Art, are you on?
Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Brian. Sorry, I'm currently on the call. I'll be back like in a couple of minutes.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Very casual, no problem. So, Brian, what I was saying was that, you know what I've been doing? One thing with the Zoom is sign-offs.
Okay.
I've done 3 sign-offs via Zoom. because as you know, our role at sign-offs is there for support and being with our clients every step of the way. I love doing sign-offs.
Right. Right.
So I don't necessarily have to, we don't necessarily have to be there in person. And my clients, I just let them know, hey, I'm going to be with you via Zoom. I don't tell them, oh, sorry, I'm going to do Zoom with you. No, I just, hey, I'm going to be with you via Zoom. I'll be there. Typically anyway, that it's the time, that's all your loan docs from your lender, and it's no real estate documents, but I'm always there for support. And I just found this to be safer for everybody concerned. The other day we had 3, my clients were mom and dad and daughter, because the daughter had to interpret.
Mhm.
And then the notary, right?
Right.
Tomorrow I have 4 signers.
Okay.
And a notary. So if I would be there, that'd be 6. I just think it's safer and wiser.
Right.
So that's one thing I implemented, and it's been working great. So far I've done 3 sign-offs.
Very cool.
I just wanted to share that. What about you?
Yeah, well, that's actually really interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something I really enjoyed too, was intending the sign-offs for both, for the sales side and for the, my sellers and my buyers. I would go to those. And so I hadn't even thought to do that over Zoom. So that's interesting. So yeah, I'm definitely going to think about doing that going forward. Well, I mean, obviously, so as far as lead generation, my business has completely changed. From a prospecting based business to a very focused on the database basically that I built up through that. But it really doesn't matter how you build the database as long as there are people in there and contacts. And so for me, the way I did that, obviously, as you know, was door knocking before. That was my thing. I would door knock, anywhere between 6 and 10 hours a week. And then I would just add those names to a database. Then I would put them on their 8x8 touch plan. And then I would put them on from that into a 36 touch, which for me now is a 46 touch. And so the ways I pivoted, I realized through all of this, a couple of things. One, I was not hitting my database hard enough. There wasn't enough personal touch. I didn't have enough contacts. And so when I put them into command and put them onto a quarterly call, along with what they were already getting, that was huge. I just started picking up a lot more leads that way. And so even though COVID hit and I couldn't door knock anymore, just focusing on my database increased my business year over year by a significant amount. And this year it's really looking like it's stacking up. And so it could even come close to doubling my business from last year, just taking my focus off of got to find a new lead to really taking care of the leads that I had. And so the other thing it drew of home for me is just realizing that it really doesn't matter how you get that lead in the database, because I'm having incredibly good conversations with people, with buyers and sellers that I've picked up through social media marketing, boosting ads, using command ads through Facebook and all of that, just putting them into the database, putting them onto an 8x8, and then putting them into the 36, which again is for me now a 46 touch. It's getting the same reaction. And so the main thing is, it doesn't really matter what you're doing to lead generate, as long as you have people to follow up with. And follow up is where you're going to find the transactions. As long as you have a way of putting new people in every day, doesn't matter how you do it. You just got to figure out what works best for you.
Yeah. And then Brian, hi Art. We're just talking.
Hi Brian. Hi Yvonne.
Hi there.
Sorry, I was on the call. I'm trying to help this buyer. He has some challenges in facing the application form to get pre-approved. So
okay. All right. So hold that thought till the end.
Okay.
Or a little bit later, because we want to focus and continue our focus. For today, we're talking about lead gen. So Brian was just explaining how he's been working his database. So Brian, what I'd like to ask you is, so this is recorded. What I'd like to ask you is the things that you're sending out.
Right.
Because I do need to also get stronger on whether it's 8x8 or whatever it might be. The part you're sending out, not the calls, but the things you send out. Can you go over just a couple of things that are sent out?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me, And I wish I had it in front of me because I just created this plan and I don't remember what I saved it as, unfortunately. So that's unfortunate for me. So I'll look for it in a moment here. But I did put together a marketing plan for that. So basically every month, there's going to be more things that go out to my geo farm also. But every month to my database, they're going to get a market update. And that's a video that I send out. It's going to be 2 to 3 minutes long, and it's covering mainly the same information every time. But obviously that information changes from month to month, and I can give people insight on what we're seeing in the market currently. Like right now, I'm not seeing as much cash. As I'm not up against as much all cash as I was before, even though we are still seeing non-contingent offers. A lot of people know what the days on market is, what the median price is, what that looks like year over year. And there are a few key stats I hit on every single month. It takes 2 to 3 minutes. And then,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
On that, just so we get an understanding, is that via text or via email?
So that's going to be via email. So that's going to go. So basically all I do is I go into designs and command. And then I create just a really quick emails, because you can just drag text over and it'll just be Santa Clara County market update, real estate market update for March or whatever. And then I'll bring over the thing where it says video and you enter the link from YouTube, and then you put the next text in and it just says something to the effect of, give me a call if you have any questions. And it looks great. And so that goes out to my entire database every month.
Oh, can I get on your database?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll add you to that for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I do for that. Here we go. I have it here. And so they get that every month. That goes to everybody in the database, regardless of what their tag is. After that, they're going to get a quick tip 2 weeks later. So the database, the report's going to go out. That video will go out the first week of the month. And I do that because once I do that, I can look at the previous month stats, and that's what I really pull from. 2 weeks after that, they all get a quick tip. And so I just filmed 2 quick tips. It's only 30 seconds to a minute long, because if you get much longer than that, they lose focus pretty quickly. And so that quick tip, I'm going to do 2 of them, one for the buyer side and one for a seller side. So one buyer side might be something to look for when you're viewing homes, or, tips on how to, write the perfect offer or whatever. And then the sell side, it might be, the 3 things that are going to increase your value the most before you put your home on the market, type of a thing. And so just a quick tip.
Via email also?
Yep. And so that's another video that they get via email. Now, one thing with those two, when I send those out to my geographic farm, one thing that I do now is I add a really small thumbnail with the play button and all of that from the YouTube video, and then I'll put the link to it there. And then but next to that link, I'll put the QR code also for the YouTube link. And so those 2 things will go out to the geographic farm, the quick tip and the monthly update every time. And so they can just scan it with their phone, and then they can go to the website and see both those also. On top of that, they're all getting a quarterly call. So that's another 4 touches right there. I hit the seasonal holidays, all that stuff. So I'll do the holidays over, New Year's, Christmas and all that. I hit spring. Sorry. Yep.
Hold on.
Yes.
If you can share on the holidays, is it a email? Is it physical card?
So for the farm, it'll be a physical card. And then it'll also be another video email thing. And so you can make it look really pretty on command also. And so they can read it if they want. They can also watch the video. And the video is it's like a 20-second, whatever, just a quick happy holidays, let me know if you need anything over the time off, enjoy family, friends, that kind of thing. It's just a really quick thing.
Yeah. So just like a greeting, just want to say hello.
Exactly.
Happy, whatever it might be. And
exactly.
So when you send something, is that postcard or is that like a notebook, a note card type?
It's a postcard. That'll be a postcard. I do send out note cards, so that would be an added touch anytime I have a 2-way conversation. And so I'll do a personalized card for them, like a thank you note. In the case that I call somebody and we have a conversation over the phone, I'll follow up with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many homes in your geo farm?
A little under 1,000 currently. Yeah.
Okay, so you send 1,000 postcards, huh?
Yes, but I do it through Every Door direct mail. And so that cost for me, I use Got Print. Got Print is the cheapest I've been able to find. They're really high quality prints. They look great. And I get sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you say got print or dot print?
Got Print. Yeah.
Oh.
So GOT Print. If you search that, it's a great resource. Yeah. So I do, and you can do EDDM right through there. So, you know, you're ordering the EDDM size, you know, size, because with EDDM, it has to be specific sizes. For me, for 1,000 prints, it costs me somewhere between, depending on what deals they have going, like $120 to $135 delivered to my house, not to the farm, but it'll be about $135. I'll have it sent to the office, because I have to drop them off at the post office. But I can get it. Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Oh, and then, okay. So you get it delivered to yourself, and then,
Yeah.
So about for 130. And then how
Yeah.
much postage when you send out 1,000, just rough figures?
I need to double check. I believe it's around 170, maybe. I think I'm spending less than $300. And I'll double check on that. In fact, I think it's actually less than that. I think it might be closer to like 260 or something like that every time I send the mailers out.
That is great, actually.
Yeah, and they're two-sided, shiny, all that stuff.
I need to look into that also, the direct mail.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
bulk.
it's a little bit of time. You have to put because you have to bundle them up in stacks of 50, and then, you know, put the little, there's each stack is going to have a thing that corresponds to the area it's going to. So it'll take me about an hour every time to pack them up, but the money that you save doing it that way is pretty incredible.
It is. For me,
Yeah.
usually I do 200, either coming soon, just so whatever that might be, or 200, it's somewhere around $1 it ends up to be per card.
Okay.
So just for 200, it costs me somewhere around 200. That's the cards and the postage. So
I would look into this, and I can leave I'll leave some options up at the front desk for anybody that watches the recording or wants to take a look at it. I'm trying to pull it up right now, but you can take a look at what the card looks like. But it's a great deal. It's the best I've been able to find.
it's probably the jumbo size card, right?
Yeah, so it's a good size card. It's 8 inches by about 6.5 inches.
Oh,
So yeah.
how big is a jumbo? Mine's a jumbo, you know, like a half a sheet size, like this size, you know.
Yeah, mine's pretty close to that. It's not, yeah, it's pretty close to that. So yeah, they look great. One thing I would recommend, just a quick tip, if you don't have the Honey extension downloaded for your browser, go to just Google Honey on Google. If you Google Honey, it'll come up with a browser extension. So you download it for your computer, and it just runs in the background all the time. And so every time you go to checkout for any kind of online shopping, it automatically searches all the coupon codes that are out there for different deals from different websites and things like that. And if it can find them, it'll compile them, whatever works, and it'll apply it to your order. And I end up saving like 10 to 20 bucks on Honey, like regularly. A lot of times my order will come up to like 136 or something. I'll end up paying like 116. And I save money on that, you know, just side note on that, using that extension constantly, like all the time.
Honey, like just the regular honey, bee
Yep.
honey?
Yep. If you search the Honey, you'll find it real easy.
.com? I'm sorry, I'm not good.
Let me pull it up. Let me just Google Honey.
You know what?
Join Honey. Yeah. So yeah, it is. It's joinhoney.com.
Joinhoney.com. Okay, I
Yep.
love it.
Yep. So check it out. I save money on it all the time, and I do save money every time I send the print. I mean, that adds up. I probably save 20 to 30 bucks a month on mailers with that. So.
Wow. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. So those mailers those 2 mailers will go to the farm. And then as far as pretty much everything else that goes out, I've got so they're on the quarterly calls, as I said. They'll get the AM card if we have a contact, and then beyond that, I will send out whatever new listing. So they're going to get a just sold every month. They're like a just sold and a coming soon, or an active. So they're going to get a 2 of those a month, regardless of what those are. So it might be an off-market property, or a recently listed property, or a just sold story. They'll get that too, and then all of that ends up adding up to to, 44, 46 touches.
Wow, that's great. And you
Yeah.
do that to about, well, let's share please with Art, because Art and I were talking about database, the importance of it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So is that everybody in your database gets
Yes.
okay, can you go
Yeah,
over
and the beauty of it for me is, if I don't have phone numbers, instead of quarterly calls, they're just getting quarterly emails. And so those everything happens automatically, because everybody gets the same thing. So what I like about this plan is I don't have it so broken up between like this person gets this and that person gets that. Everybody gets the exact same information unless some news breaks that's like really important for one side or the other. I would send it out to buyers versus seller, and then the seller tip versus the buyer tip. But those are pretty quick. So that's the only thing that I have. Everything else goes out to everyone in the database every single time, other than the seller tip and buyer tip.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge. Because obviously Gary for years has been sharing with us, it's all about our database.
Yeah.
And when I sent out an email to the VCs I was working with, I emphasized the importance of communicating and having a nice, healthy database. So
Yeah.
healthy means staying in touch, building, communicating and being active.
Yeah.
So Art, what questions do you, no, before I ask you of that. So that's one huge part of our lead generating is connecting with our database.
Yeah.
There's sure other things, but since we're on database, Art, any questions in relation to the database?
Not with the database, no.
Okay, for lead generating. Okay, so let's talk about another form of lead generating. What I would like to, Art, what have you been using for your main source of generating leads?
I usually, I was into email or marketing before. Like I sent many emails, like mass emails, in using my normal accounts basically. And Gmail has a new feature now. You could send mass emails. Of course, you have to pay for that. I use that like for I think couple of dollars to send like more than 500 emails at one time, and it's one of their Google products. And if you run the ad, they reduce down the discount. I mean, they give it some rebates. I use that. Of course, it was a plain email, not anything video in it. So, of course, but yeah, I connected with few of the clients and, mentioned the link of like, oh, if you want to find home equity or, the in your house or probably, what would be your value of your house, something like which would capture the footprints of who's logging and the addresses and at what time. And I tried all that. It worked out. I did receive few leads. I'm nurturing it, but my major source of lead generation always is, most of the time, is I started giving my dog more walks. And I want to meet people who I go to dog parks, and I meet people there. And that basically it's the area also. The culture of the area matters. Like if you go near San Jose downtown area or Alameda area, I kind of like, I've spent like almost 20 years there, so I'm more comfortable in connecting with people. Most of the people, I mean, pretty much whole Bay Area has a laid back attitude, and it's easy to connect. It's basically, you have to inform everybody, yes, I'm a realtor and the market is, interest rates are low and it's a great time to sell. And if you're buying, of course, we would love to help you. Just share them the details. I don't really share my phone number right away until they ask me. I want them to ask me.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm focusing on. Uh, Communication skills, based how I would trigger them to ask me my details. And that shows the motivation of the buyer too, or the seller.
So one main form for you is getting out and talking to people. That I already know. I know you like more comfortable face to face. Hey, Brian.
Yeah. One last thing. I started this recently. I mean, I received a few referrals from I actually sent a few referrals to other states.
Yeah.
And they started sending me, for example, this card, which is on my desk. I received this card. It's like, it says thanks bunches.
Oh,
You guys could see that. Could you guys see that?
not because it goes in and out because of the background. Oh,
and it just like print stuff like, oh, thank you for referring, and like it's this is the card. I asked her, the Brittany Stewart, I referred one client there in Texas. And it just prints out for you. It's only like $2. And
so she sent that to you.
Yeah, I've been reading many cards like that.
Okay,
and yeah, I
just want to let's I'd like
a Starbucks gift card in that too. I drank coffee already.
Yes. I like that. And the thing is to send those out initially, not wait till at the end of the transaction. So Brian, can you help Art or any thoughts come to you with what you heard Art explain about his one source of lead generating? Any input you have, any helpful hints you might have for him to be able to have more?
I think the part where I'm struggling is connecting with people strategically. I mean, I do want to. I'm good with that. I'm not that bad with that, but I think there is a more mature connection. How to develop that, like instantly show them that you're knowledgeable what's happening in the area, and like remember some numbers about the area. I don't have the MLS when I'm like meeting these people. So how could I overcome by sharing precise information to them, and also target their network by not just asking, oh, any of your friends are looking, but what would be the best way would you suggest, which would make the conversation more smooth. Or
Brian, any suggestions?
Yeah, I mean, I just I'll let people know about a video I just did. I mean, that's something I can do. I did a quick video with plenty of disclaimers that I'm not a professional tax person or California qualified real estate attorney. But I did one on Prop 19 as kind of, what to expect, where to get more resources, what it means, bottom line for sellers type of a thing. And so I can call everybody and just let them know, hey, I just made this new video. Just wanted to see if you'd seen, I put that out on Facebook, just let them know, if you know anybody that might think that is helpful or is in that kind of a position, if you want to send that their way, that'd be great. And then it's just simple, like any way that I can add value, or, don't overthink it, because there are plenty of days where I need to connect with these people in my database. Their numbers came up to call, and I don't really have anything that I'm doing, like as far as a promotion or anything like that at the moment. And I'll just call them up and see like, hey, I haven't talked to him yet this year. So I'll just introduce myself again. Typically they know who I am. And I'll say, hey, it's been a while. Obviously, if it's somebody that maybe I door knocked, I haven't been able to make it through the neighborhood in quite a while. It's probably going to be a while longer. So just wanted to touch base, see how you're doing. It sounds like you survived last year, and they usually chuckle or something. And it's like, were you able to stay healthy throughout everything? How about vaccines? Have you, or does that look like it's something that you're going to be able to get soon type of a thing? It's just like, it depends on the conversation. If it sounds like I'm talking to somebody that's is really conservative and they're talking about, not wanting to get the vaccine. It's, you kind of have to be careful there a little bit, but I'm just getting an update, just wanted to make sure you're healthy and let you know, I'm still in business, I'm meeting people virtually. So if you have any questions, if you need anything, even if it's just a contractor referral, if you want to know what your home's worth, you can get a hold of me 7 days a week. You got my cell phone. I just wanted to see how you're doing. So it's just even that is a value add. I'm just reaching out, reminding you that I'm in the business. I'm still working. I've adapted to COVID-19. I'm meeting people virtually, so let me know if you need anything at all. And people have questions about the market. Half the time they're like, yeah, what's going on in the market? And then you have that conversation. So it's you just can't overthink it. It's as simple as in answer to your question, Yvonne, about what I was hearing, a couple of things. Laura would want us to bring up the three-legged stool, so having 3 different areas that are consistently bringing in leads, not because, let's say you've got one area that's bringing in plenty of leads. I still want to have a couple of other areas that are bringing in leads just in case something happens and one's shut down or not working like it was before or whatever that may be. I've got other leads that are coming in also, but it's as simple as you get those leads into your database, you follow up with them regularly, and eventually the business starts to, it honestly starts to snowball at some point. So it's as simple as that. As far as your emails, the one thing I was thinking, you can say, if you don't want to, spend the money to do it through Gmail and also have the ability to design it and all of that, I would definitely look into Command for that, because it's free to send out those emails. So I don't pay anything if I'm using Command email, and then I can just create them straight from designs. And I show you what that looks like really quick. I don't know if it's actually going to let me share my screen. Let me see. I can. Okay, perfect. So you can see I send it to my old Yahoo account. I send everything to this old account that I never used, just so I can keep track of what my marketing looks like. But all I did for this, and I don't love how this is kind of shaded. I don't know how to fix that yet, but in the designs for Command, I literally just pull a text box over, because you just design it as you go, type that out, centered it. Then I dragged over a box that's a video or photo, and I upload just the link to the YouTube video. So if you click on it, it'll take you to that. Brought over another text bubble here, boom, added the legal footer, and it's done. So like in a couple of minutes, you create this whole thing, and then I can just go straight into, I can go right into the marketing side of Command, and I just create a marketing piece, and I can choose the list I want to send it to. In this case, it was everyone, and it's cheap and easy and free. So.
That's wonderful. I love that. I'm going to start doing that, Brian.
Yeah.
And Art, well, this would be fantastic.
But is this? Yes. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to share. Remember, I haven't had a chance to look at your Facebook. I was exhausted last night getting home after that long drive. It got stuck in traffic and so on. But anyway, I haven't got a chance to look at your Facebook. You told me that you posted, but maybe taking a clip of that, not 20 minutes long, but maybe 2 minutes. Say, hey, I just want to show you our new listing. Our office is one of our new listings. We don't have to say, oh, it's one of my colleagues. Hey, just wanted to share one of our new listings in downtown San Jose. Just give you I don't know, whatever you might want to say. 2 minutes long, right? Brian, about 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
Well, with this,
it's just showing, and we send that to our database.
Oh wait, everything is stuck.
Oh, what I was saying is we just put to our database, and that just shows them. Oh, am I stuck?
A little bit.
The screen was
stuck?
frozen. It's
You're freezing a little bit.
Uh-oh. Art?
Yes, it's breaking.
Art, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. Your voice is breaking though. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Brian,
Hello?
okay, are we back? Everybody's back? No?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I could hear Brian clearly.
Okay.
I can hear.
The
Can you
screen
guys-
is
Cool.
clear.
Hopefully we're past it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought, what a great way just to send to our database, and that way it just shows them, oh, hey, Art's out there. He's doing real estate.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's it. All we need is that they, oh, hey, Art's in real estate, every month.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. A couple of things that I've done to change it up a little bit this year is one, I was noticing I was just not posting enough. And the more I post, the more you post, the more interaction you're going to get. And the more you interact with other people, the more people that are getting, the more people are going to see your wall, because Facebook, if it sees you interacting with somebody else and then they have even one interaction with you, you're going to start popping up on their feed a lot more. And so one thing sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Yuan.
I have a question on that before you go further.
Yeah.
You do that on your page or on your profile?
I do it on my personal page.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what I do. For me personally, I get more business by just being really present with as many relationships as I can possibly have.
Okay.
And so what that means for me is my audience is like 10 times bigger. Well, I don't know if it's that, but it's significantly larger on my personal page than it is on my business page.
Yeah.
You have to have both. And the reason you want your business page mainly is for when people don't know who you are personally at all, they're going to look for your business page as opposed to your personal page. And when they find your business page, they're going to look and want to make sure that you're active. And so you do want to keep it updated.
So that's my question. Can you start on your personal, on your profile?
Yeah.
Which I've learned from Clara. I want to use the right term. Profile is our personal, page is our business. So
Yes.
when we start on our profile page, which is also personal, do you then share to your business page?
Sure. Yeah. From the business page. Yes. Occasionally. And so, yeah. So basically when I have somebody that doesn't know me at all, or somebody that's going to see a marketing piece or a boost or an ad or whatever on social media, when they see that, they're going to go to my business page first. And so they need to see that there's activity happening there. And so if they scroll down my page, they're going to see listings and that, this and that. Now, for me personally, I used to write a lot of blogs. I would take 3 hours to write a blog on why you don't need 10%, or what, like the positives between renting and all of that. And what I found is no higher amount of people read those than if I had just done a generic blog and sourced it, because everyone assumed that that's what I was doing. It was the funniest thing. I was telling somebody about a blog that I wrote and that they should check it out because they were asking me a question that was similar. And they're like, oh, I didn't even read that. I just assumed it was an article. I didn't realize you wrote it. And at that point I was like, nobody realizes that I'm writing these things. I'm wasting a lot of time. On the business page is much more generic because I just need to show activity for the most part. So my new listings are going there. All my ads and boosts are run from there because you can't do that from your personal page. And I occasionally will put on some content that I've curated. So, a market update or whatever, all that stuff's going there. But for the most part, I've reconnected it. Sorry, I don't know what that is. I've reconnected it with, okay, give me 1 second, guys. They are apparently cleaning the outside of my house.
That's nice.
1 second.
It's okay. So Art, just go ahead and when Brian comes back. Brian, are you back?
Yeah, it's not going to get any better, I don't think. I don't know why they're spraying my windows with the pressure washer. That seems dangerous, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I use the business page. I've connected it back to CirclePix. For the longest time, I disconnected it from CirclePix because I was like, oh, it's just such generic information. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what, my business page can absolutely be 90% generic information because it's just showing activity. And the main thing I'm doing is running my boosts through that anyways. And so that's what I do there. And then my personal page, I've actually linked with my Instagram. I unlinked my Instagram as a business page because if you do have your Instagram as a business page, it will automatically only link with your business page. And I'm getting way more leads and way more actual people from my database contacting me through my personal Facebook now anyways. So I've now made my Instagram a creator one instead. They've added that third option, and that will link to the personal page and yet still allow you to run ads and things like that. And so as much as I can, I'll post to Instagram and it'll just post automatically to my Facebook. I'm much better with Facebook, so I'm trying to get better with Instagram now, but I put most of my stuff on Facebook. So I'll do at least one post a day. And like most of them are going to be personal, just kind of funny, lighthearted, nothing, political or anything like that. Once every day. And sometimes the sillier, the better. Even my contacts in my database that don't know me that well, they start to get to know me more personally and they start interacting with that stuff. And then at least one business post every week. It doesn't have to be like super in your face business, but if I just did a market update, I'll put the YouTube video up for that. Or, if I'm just talking about, hey, just out showing houses, it's a beautiful day, just, reminding me why I love my job type of a thing. It's just remind them that I'm in the business. And every time I do the business one, I almost always get at least one person that it may not be a lead, but it's somebody that's asking me some sort of real estate related question. And that's all I'm trying to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we talked about database, we talked about social media, which obviously
I have a challenge with Facebook. So I mean, let me give you a little bit of background of what happened. It's I ran a couple of ads with Facebook. Their what was the product? I forgot. Facebook advertising. Facebook. That was, I think, that, not sure the exact product name, but advertising through Facebook. And I think my account was, few months back, it was hacked, and somebody ran like some juice ads from my account, and my account is disabled with Facebook. So I tried to contact Facebook, account in the review, because that ad, whosoever ran that ad broke was in the violation on some Facebook policy, whatever.
Right.
And so my Facebook account, ad account, is disabled. I contacted them several times. I need my review. Probably I asked to review like 50 times, but they just respond saying that it's a violation of the policy. The same message comes again and again, and I kept on informing them that this is not my ad. I didn't run this ad. So could we, like, what are our options? Like, is there a way you guys could figure out, like, when this was hacked, and like nobody responds? So I mean, of course, there is no direct helpline in Facebook. There's no 1-800 number. It's all online.
Right.
How could I, if you guys know, like, how could I,
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know how to handle that, because I know Facebook is notorious for, like YouTube and all that, it's very difficult to get hold of anybody, because obviously, like, most of the world is on those platforms, so it's like, it's super cut and dry sometimes. It's your business account, not your personal page, right?
It's through, well, my business page is linked with my personal account.
Okay, so are they both shut down, or they just shut down the business side?
No, they didn't shut down any of my pages. They're like, you can't run any ads anymore on Facebook. And I told them, like, this is not, I don't even know how this happened. I just heard. Then I connected with few of my friends, couple of them who work in Facebook. I'm like, I just know them, and they told me, like, Facebook is just shutting down like normal people's account. For any reason.
Right.
And of course, I'm not. All these are just platforms to me. Like, okay, Facebook is a huge one, but for example, Nextdoor is one, which I ran some ads on that. There's TikTok. I haven't created the video yet, but it's sunny now, so maybe I could create, like, some videos, and then it's just platforms. But there are some challenges which we can't do anything about it.
Facebook is a great platform to have in your arsenal for sure, because there's a class I took with a guy named Justin Nelson, who's a smart young guy, and he took his dad's business from 6 million to like 60 million in the course of 12 months by doing Facebook marketing. And out here, I think it's even more important, just because our homes are so expensive that typically the people that are buying homes here, unless they're in tech, are going to be closer to millennial, they're going to be millennials plus typically, right?
Yeah.
And millennials plus are on Facebook, so I think it's an important thing to be on. So I'm sorry to hear you're having issues with that. I'm wondering if you didn't have like a huge following, and maybe keep trying to get that worked out, but I'm wondering if you could maybe just start a new business page for that, just for now, or maybe permanently.
Also, I'm going to suggest, because we have partnership with Facebook. They talked about that
Yeah.
at family reunion. So I would reach out to KW International, maybe start with Kelly, our Kelly, reaching out to her and where she can guide you.
Okay, yeah, I'll contact Kelly.
Just say,
She's
Kelly,
pretty
yeah,
proactive with all those things
yeah,
too.
hey, I got hacked and now, but just bullet point for Kelly. Don't give her a long story. Just tell her exactly what you need. And she'll at least guide you where who best to connect with, because like I
Yeah.
said, they we've had a relationship with Facebook for a while. The other thing
So
I
there
want,
is through command, I could run the ads too, right? And on Facebook.
Well, yes, you can. The problem is it still runs it through Facebook. So if you're blocked on
Right.
Facebook, it won't run the ad either still. So
It's a single sign on, like they have like it's all integrated and linked.
right.
Okay.
okay. Can I want to share another lead gen source, because other people will be maybe viewing our time today, because it is recorded. So I watched a couple weeks ago on a class about LinkedIn. It's where we are going to generate, and I'm sorry, I should have had my notes ready, but that's where it's a huge connection source. It's more obviously on the business side of things, not the social. It's not social, it's all business. But they were talking about all kinds of transactions, and this was a KW agent. I think it was Tristan and that group, Brian, um, the lab coats.
Okay.
I like them. They're KW. But anyway, so I thought, gosh, that's been on my mind, and I've every now and then I go in and I say something, but surely not being consistent. And going back to what Brian was talking about, I think the main thing for whatever we choose to do is we have to be consistent.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Not just do a post here and there and then expect like the moon, right? So
How are you guys approaching? I mean, have you guys been approaching to expired lead homeowners and canceled listing homeowners, and how both of you approach to those listings homeowners?
Right. I am. I was doing it for a moment through getting the phone numbers through a lead source. And I was just finding so many are on, for me personally, I don't do a lot of cold calling. I'm better in person, or I'm better with calling people that I've already met. That's just kind of where I put most of my focus there. But I've called the ones I can. My issue is, a lot of times I put in the numbers and maybe 75% of them have numbers associated. And then out of that 75%, like maybe half of them are actually good numbers. And then out of that half, a lot of them are on the do not call list. So you will have numbers that you can call, but with inventory as low as it's been, not having a ton of canceled and expireds, it just hasn't been where I put a ton of my time as far as the phone, but I do send cards. And I do actually personal videos also. So like I just hold up a little sign that's got, their name on it. And I just introduce myself, let them know that I saw that their house had been on the market. Things didn't go as planned. So I'm sorry to see that, and kind of let them know what I do differently. So it's just it's literally like a 38-second, really quick hook I try and set. And then I put that picture in the card with the QR code for them to go take a look at it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing with cancel expires. And I just started doing it. So I'll let you know how it goes, because my open rate so far is not super high. I just don't know if it needs to be, just because it's such a different, weird approach.
But where do you get these phone numbers of these homeowners?
There are a million different sources out there. I mean, you can use RedX, Mojo. There's a bunch of them. Mojo I really liked. When I was doing circle prospecting, like cold calling, I was only doing that during Bold, just because I wanted, anytime I had a week where I couldn't get 100 contacts, I would just resort to getting them real quick that way.
Yeah.
And I had a little bit of success there. I used Mojo on that. I liked Mojo because I was able to, instead of doing like a radius to pull numbers, I was able to do like custom shape setting like you can do on the MLS, which I found helpful because I think in the terms of routes, I used to read meters for PG&E. And so I had my specific routes that I would run and they were all outlined and all that stuff. And so all my door knocking routes were all set up in Google My Maps. And I was doing the same thing with cold calling where I would be like, okay, I'm going to call route number 1. And then route number 1 wouldn't get called for another like 30 days. My issue with some of the other ones where they would just do a radius is I would have overlap, like a Venn diagram on all those different sections where I would call route 2, and then that would kind of overlap with route 1 at some level. And so I was getting like 30 of the numbers that would be the same, and I'd be calling them 2 days in a row. And so being able to do the custom shapes, I was able to make like 22 routes, and then you could just call them every workday.
Oh,
So that's why I like Mojo.
You're so
okay.
talented.
So this is all in Mojo. I was, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Mojo is how I did it, just because it helped me. And it's not like I was getting the same people all the time, but I was noticing the same names. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just talked to them yesterday and it's just ringing. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I guess we'll see how it goes, talking to them twice in a row. So yeah.
If you guys know, is there like a public record? Like we could just
I mean, you can look at Realist and get their address, their mailing address. It'll say whether it's a rental property, owner occupied, where their tax mailing address is, all that. So, because if I'm sending out a canceled expired card, a lot of times it's a rental property or a decent amount of the time, and so the card I'm sending out is going a completely different place.
Mhm.
Do you know how to get to Realist to check that information?
Yes, I do have the access of the information. I mean, through MLS, we could also look their public records. That gives us the address. But in order to make the contact, right? Of course, like with the address, there's only one option, which is mailer, whether you mail cards or card is whatever, all these mailers is the only option. But let's say if we don't have their email addresses and phone numbers.
No, you're only going to have what's public record, or if they've signed up with a website that sold their information, and then sometimes you can find it on like white pages and things like that. But who knows how accurate it is. So yeah, you're never going to have if we could easily just public record pull up somebody's number, this job would be a lot easier. I wish we could do that, but cards are the way we're doing it right now. Before cards, I was doing door knocks, which I found way more effective. I mean, because everyone's calling them. When something expires, you're going to have, a lot of people calling. So you have to be the person that's going to, make an impression and push the hardest to get the appointment, or be, really valuable. And most of the time it's just being the most persistent and being the one that keeps calling when everyone else stopped is typically the way to go. But if you can make a connection in person, which we can't do right now, but when you can get back out there and do that, getting in touch with those people that have tried to sell their homes, it's a good thing. And I've gotten listings that way myself.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully COVID is going to end soon. I mean, people are saying after March end, I think, they are going to reopen the schools. Everything would be open. Restaurants are already open.
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping by fall, I can get back out there. We'll see. I'm kind of guessing like by the time we can actually, for me, I'm thinking I'm probably looking at door knocking again next year. I'm never going back into it with the amount of time I was before. I'll probably do maybe 2 hours a week in my farm, but I'm hoping it's going to come back at some level.
Yeah, and for me, I miss the open houses, right? Open houses were huge. That was my big thing. However, this over the weekend, I was thinking about that. Wow, how much time I did spend on open houses. It was successful, and I met a lot of people, which I enjoyed. And I would door knock around my open houses and so on. But it was a lot of time. So I think if we be ready and use our time wisely, and have a combination of both. Virtual, and physical. I don't think we'll get back quite the same in people's minds because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit uncertainty, because I guess it's continues to mutate, right? And we'll have new things every year. So I think we need a combination of both.
If let's say there's a scenario, I mean, I meet a person and says, oh, I want to actually list my house right now, right, Yvonne? We talked about it yesterday. Like, let's say he says that, oh yeah, I meet you, I like you, let's list the house. So, what do you guys do like at that time? I mean, of course, you take the listing, but what's your first? I mean, you just inform that to the transaction coordinator and then she prepares the listing agreement right away, or?
I personally prepare my own listing agreements. I don't, this might be different for Yvonne, I don't know, but I don't send anything to my transaction coordinator unless I already took the listing. Otherwise, in the case that there have been times where I'll tell her, listen, I'm taking this one, I'm going to have it. It's an old client of mine and I'm going to be doing disclosures at the same time. Here's the names. If you could send me those, that'd be great. And then I'll send her those too. But for the most part, I take the listing and I do disclosures at a different appointment. And so I send the completed listing agreement and whatever other supporting documents. If I have an MLS exclusion or anything like that, those will go to Lindsay. And then I can let her know if I want to pre-open escrow and who that would be with.
Okay.
That'd be the very, very next step for me. And then outside of that, it's just a matter of figuring out exactly your seller situation. You should go into it knowing kind of what you want to do. Am I going to pay for staging? Am I going to split that cost? I'm going to ask them to pay for staging. You kind of have to have an idea of what you're marketing, the marketing things that you want to do. Is it a virtual open house and this, and this? So have an idea what you want to do. And then when you walk through the home, you can kind of give them an idea of what they should be doing to prepare, see how much they want to do. Do they want to paint and all that stuff? And then it's just a matter of putting a plan together, getting escrow pre-opened, and then moving forward to disclosures is most typical for me for early on.
Okay. For Yvonne, for you, is it you just inform Lindsay, or which TC do you use?
I use Lindsay. Yeah, I love her. She helps me a lot.
You inform her right away that let's.
Yep. I send it to her. I'm opposite of what Brian just shared, which is doesn't matter. Everybody has a different. Yeah. So. Because for me, the paperwork, as much paperwork I can get out of my hands, I'm thankful. And now, of course, if I'm in if I'm in a situation where I need it like that, of course, I'll do it myself. But right. No, if I have some time, no, I send her all the info. As I shared with you yesterday on our call, that, yeah, I send her all the info and she prepares it for me.
Yeah, okay. That's awesome.
I love it.
It's one of the things where it's, I may not even I'm clearly not the best person to ask about what you should use a TC for. And it's so funny. It's been on my to-do list for years. Like, sit down with Lindsay and find out what I'm continuing to do that may be stepping on her toes, or, what can she be doing that I'm, doing. Yeah. So that's something I need to do at some point, because there are things that I'm sure I do that I'll be completely, taking over jobs that she would take care of for me.
Yeah. Just ask her. She's great at it. She whips it out. You know why, Brian? She has the templates. It's all there. I provide her with the client's name, the address, of course, the commission. And of course, we have to fill in the time and stuff. So, and all she does is she whips it out like that.
Right.
Do you have to fill up the time? I mean, which time? Which time are you referring?
I'm sorry.
In your last statement, you said, like, of course, we have to fill up the time.
Oh, the time, the beginning and ending date.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The time. Okay.
Of the listing, and then the price, because sometimes the price usually is not determined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a few things that we have to still populate in there.
So we could get the listing agreement signed without deciding the price at that moment.
No. Just how Lindsay does. No, just to get the paperwork ready, and then we go with that paperwork to our appointment.
But the paperwork includes the listing agreement.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we don't have to define the number.
You don't have to before you go to the listing appointment. You can do it at the listing appointment, but you do need to do it at the time of the listing appointment if they're signing it, because if they sign it and there's no number, then it's not a valid contract. So, so you don't have to have Lindsay, like for me, if I was going to have Lindsay fill out my contract, And I didn't already know, like if it was a past client and we already talked about it and they told me, yeah, we're listing at 1.199 or whatever, then sure, I could have her do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I'm going to be going over CMA and then we're going to kind of figure out together what they should be listing their home for, I just have them write it out. In fact, I just have them write it out. I just put in there, go ahead, perfect. So once they make a decision, I have them write it down and it's very clear. You decided the price, you wrote it into the contract, and then I let them know it's not set in stone, you know, so anytime between
Right.
now and when we list the property, if there's a reason to change this price or, you know, it's not, you can change it. So it just has to be something down.
Okay. How would, so in current market, since the market is pretty aggressive, every homeowner wants the top dollar, right? They're like, oh, we just want the max. Of
Yeah.
course, our strategy is that we list a little bit lower than the market value.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. So, I mean, in general, what I have observed is like most of the realtors, they lower they list it at the lower price because more people that would drive more people to come and see the home.
Mhm.
And what would, let's say if it's $1 million home, what, like you know, from CMA you define like, okay, yeah, this is what is coming the median value of the house, and it should be somewhere in this range. We don't know how much buyers the competition is gonna take more, but how do you gauge that approximation between the listing price and how much the buyer competition would be faced for a specific house? Of taking an example of $1 million.
Right. So for an example, 1 million, I mean, it's going to depend on two major things for me: the product, what am I selling,
Yes.
and hyper local, what's going on in the market locally, and like right there. So as
Okay.
far as the product is concerned, I had a condo recently that I could not have listed it for a bidding war, because even if if I'd listed it for like $5, then sure, I would have a ton of activity and who knows what would happen, but that would have been, you know, not really acceptable. But it was not an easy condo to sell. The condo market is softer than single family home market, probably because you know, because rents are down like 15% in San Jose, and there's just a disproportionate number of properties, condo properties that are rentals. So I'm guessing that has something to do with it too. So I looked at my property, I looked at the comps, how long did they take to sell? I looked at the median days to sell for condos in that area. And I knew based on, and I looked at the list to sale ratio, and based on all that, I knew we need to list at basically your bottom line, like, you know, and if it goes over, it goes over. Otherwise, we're going to be priced too high. And we were priced a little bit too high. We listed at 592 and we ended up selling at 577. And so if I'd gone in, I'd try and listed that. I mean, the problem is our comps were all at 6. And so the market was just changing a little bit. If I had tried to underprice it, I might have underpriced it enough to where I still only get one person out, and then they write a full ask offer. And we're in a situation where like, it should be selling for more, but I have a full price offer. What do you do now? Yeah. You don't have to take it, but it doesn't look great. So it depends on the situation. So my product was not the product that I would have put it on the market under price, even though the surrounding single family homes were being listed 5 to 10% under. So you got to look at all those things. So if you're going to go out to Morgan Hill, it's going to be pretty hot, but not as hot as San Jose. So you got to look at what the list to sale ratio is there, and then Gilroy, and then Hollister. And so I'll look, and then if I see on stats that the average list to sale ratio is about 105%, then I'll say, okay, we're going to be listing probably, you know, 5% under if you're in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,400 square foot cookie cutter home that everybody wants. Yeah. And I can see that those homes are selling way over. And then I'll look at the neighborhood recent solds and see, okay, what were they selling for? And if they're like, everything is, you know, everything's selling for $1 million, they're all listing at 998, I'll probably list at 998. You know, so, or if my seller says, you know what, there's no way I would take anything less than 950, you know, then it might be a situation where I'm like, well, 950 is still low enough. It's still under what it's probably going to sell for. I don't want to list it way low and have to chance getting lower offers. And in that case, I might list it at 949. So yeah, again, so I'm going to look at my product. I'm going to look at the hyper local market, and then just factor in the situation, what your client needs.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Brian, for that. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Art, for joining us. We're at a little past 1, and also there'll be a class tonight at 5 if you want to join Clara and Donna. And Art, thank you. You're always so diligent and joining us. So I know you're working very hard on your business.
Yeah. And Clara and Donna would be great to check out too, because they're great at lead gen. And I know for sure Clara does a lot of internet lead gen. So she'd be better to talk to you than me for sure on that one.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Lon. Thank you for
Of course. Absolutely.
Thank
Okay, so I am going to say stop recording. Wait, stop recording. Okay.
If you just end it, it'll save it automatically to the cloud.
It saves it after.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
submit the